Have you ever studied Newton? Newton, right? Newton's physics and laws.
Yeah.
He was one of the greatest scientists back in the Enlightenment era, or 1600s, but he was also a theologian too, one of the greatest theologians back in Europe. You know what I mean? So he was the guy who started off science in the way it has become today, because we built everything upon early scientists, right?
Yeah.
Everything we discovered in calculus was because of Newtonian physics, and he created like calculus, or developed it, not created, but developed it. What I'm saying is that just because you believe in that there is science or mathematics, it doesn't mean that there isn't an intelligent source behind everything, because things don't just pop out into existence, right? Things don't just pop into it. We don't have a pink unicorn popping out. If you're a Lamborghini, I wish I had a Lamborghini right now, it pops into existence. It doesn't happen. Somebody would have to hear your request and give you a Lamborghini, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, is that with you and I, we didn't just pop into existence. Somebody actually formed your DNA. There's a guy named J. Warner Wallace. He was a detective. He was a famous detective on Dateline, ABC news station. He became a Christian after. He was a hardcore atheist, hardcore. Then he started reading the Bible and seeing, does the Bible correlate to reality? And then he found out, wow, the Bible actually explains reality really well. Have you seen one of these?
No.
Oh, it talks about $1 million question. That's actually a $1 trillion question, but if you died today, do you think you'd go to heaven?
Oh.
See?
Yeah.
It's a pretty big question.
Probably not.
Oh man, that's a pretty honest answer. Why not?
I'm not really religious, so
Uh-huh.
I don't really believe in Jesus or live my life by the Bible
Yeah,
or anything like that. I just try my best to be a good person
Yeah.
on my own terms.
I see. What if I told you that God doesn't actually require you to be good? He doesn't want you to be bad, but it's not about being good. What if I told you that God's not looking for you to be good, he's looking for something different? What would you say?
I'm not sure, because I'm not really, like I said, I'm not
No,
really
you're not.
religious, so I don't really
Okay.
believe in God, so
Okay, let's start
Yeah.
from level 0, right? Okay.
Okay.
Do you believe there's intelligent design in this universe? Looking at DNA, looking at stars, how stars are formed. There's no way like all of the electromagnetic forces just come together and create a perfectly balanced universe, right? Would you say that's true? By itself, Big Bang happened, and
I think that there's a lot we don't know about it, but I'm not sure that it's really any sort of evidence of a
Yeah.
divine presence.
okay. What about the word divine can keep people from really thinking? What about an intelligent being that not divine, but an intelligent being outside of time and space? Logical.
I don't really think that's what it is. I think that there are just events and circumstances that we haven't really discovered and explored yet that led to the creation of the universe.
Have you ever studied Newton? Newton, right? Newton's physics and laws.
Yeah.
He was one of the greatest scientists back in the Enlightenment era, or 1600s, but he was also a theologian too, one of the greatest theologians back in Europe. You know what I mean? So he was the guy who started off science in the way it has become today, because we built everything upon early scientists, right?
Yeah.
Everything we discovered in calculus was because of Newtonian physics, and he created like calculus, or developed it, not created, but developed it. What I'm saying is that just because you believe in that there is science or mathematics, it doesn't mean that there isn't an intelligent source behind everything, because you have to look at things like, okay, look at a building, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you know the building behind you was created by somebody? Like, you've never met the person who formed it. He might have been alive 50 years ago. How do you know that somebody created that building?
Because it exists.
Exactly. So the building itself is the proof of the existence of somebody that did it, because a logical mind thinks like that. Things don't just pop out into existence, right? Things don't just pop into it. We don't have a pink unicorn popping out. If you're a Lamborghini, I wish I had a Lamborghini right now, it pops into existence. It doesn't happen. Somebody would have to hear your request and give you a Lamborghini, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, is that with you and I, we didn't just pop into existence. Somebody actually formed your DNA. Because Richard Dawkins, he's one of the most famous atheist scientists in the world. He said that he doesn't believe in God, but he said that DNA is like closest thing we have to computer code. And he said that it has the appearance of design. So the appearance of design, even from a hardcore atheist who doesn't believe anything about God, it begs the question, well, who designed it? So that's what I'm saying, is that for me, proving God's existence, even if you don't have to even believe in the Bible, right? Or Quran or any religious book, it's not hard for me to know that there is some sort of God, right? And most people in the world are seeking some kind of thing outside of themselves, right? Do you seek anything like meditation, spirituality?
Not really. I try my best to be very introspective and live my life for myself and the things that I know that I care about.
Yeah.
And are important to me.
Okay. What if there's things that are important to you that actually could be harmful to somebody else, right? What would you do in that sense?
I try my best to look at multiple angles
Okay.
of it, and I try my best to not do things when I say I live for myself.
You're not being selfish?
I study what I want to, yeah.
Okay.
I study what I know I love and what I want to study, and will get me places in life.
Where you want to succeed, right?
Yeah.
To find success, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with success, but watch out, here, let me move here, yeah. What's your name, by the way?
Alani.
Alani? Slavic. Sorry, yeah. I know you got your, yeah. But Alani, here's the thing. I want to go to your conscience and see whether God could speak to you through conscience. You know the 10 Commandments from the Bible? Okay. Do you know any of them?
I know one's about adultery, like one's,
okay.
And
That's
then
one.
like thou shalt not kill.
Yeah. Which is the Hebrew word for murder. So it's not just killing, because self-defense is but it's murder.
Yeah.
Have you ever told a lie? That's one of the commandments.
Most definitely.
Most definitely. Okay, what do you call someone who tells lies? What would you call me if I keep lying to you? And I'm saying I'm your friend.
A liar.
A liar, exactly,
liar.
yeah. Have you ever stolen anything?
No.
Okay. Never?
No.
You're not lying to me.
I'm not.
I'm just kidding.
I would feel too bad.
Okay, good. Okay, that's good. Okay, that's one of the commandments. Another one says you shall not use God's name in vain. People say Jesus Christ is a cuss word or God the Amen. Have you ever done that?
Yes.
Okay, so it's called, to be honest, it's called blasphemy. I used to do that when I was younger, before God changed my life. But think about this. If your parents were here, standing in front of you, do you have a good relationship with any of your parents?
Yes.
Would they feel really offended if you started using their name as a cuss word? In front of your friends, yeah. Be like, F this, that.
I was saying cuss words.
Yeah, and they're using their name, not saying
their
their name as a cuss word. Wouldn't that be pretty disrespectful to your parents?
Probably. I think they would be more confused than anything, though.
Yeah, but then you would say, I don't care about you. I'm just using your name in vain. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Let's say your parents knew what was going on. It's bad. In the same way, let's say there is a personal being, right? God who created you. And he's, in the Bible, God calls himself as a father of all creation, right? So imagine God being the father, not personally, because you're not yet his child yet, but he's like the father of all creation, and you're using his name as a cuss word. That's pretty disrespectful to a higher being who gave you life, right? Because at any moment he can take your life away because he's God. But anyways, that's called blasphemy. Another big one, okay, this is big. Jesus said, don't commit adultery, like you said.
Yes.
Don't cheat on your spouse, which is bad in any case, whether you're in America or China. But if Jesus said this, he said that if you've heard it said, don't commit adultery, in Gospel of Matthew. And remember, he's a Jewish rabbi, right, speaking to the Jews. But he said that I say to you, if you look with lust at a woman, you've committed adultery in your heart. This applies to women too, looking at men. But this is Jewish culture, but he's basically saying, if you fantasize sexually about somebody who's not your wife, you've committed adultery. So you don't even have to do the sexual act. You just have to fantasize sexually. Have you ever been guilty of that?
Not with someone that I like personally.
Uh-huh.
Usually it's just like, I don't know.
Pornography?
No, just like celebrity be like, that is an attractive
That's
person.
a hot, celebrity. Okay. So it's not like you're fantasizing sexually about it? Okay. So you've never really done that? Like you just keep it to yourself? And Are you waiting for a husband?
No.
No.
I'm just not really, I don't really think about that.
You don't really think about that? Okay.
No.
I would encourage you, save yourself for the right man. Because everyone in college, not everyone, I meant to say a lot of people in college, they don't really understand the intimacy of sex. They just think that, hey, I like her, she's hot. But they don't understand it bonds people, like in such a deep level that it's spiritual. It's actually very spiritual. But anyways, by your own admission, your name again, I'm sorry.
Alani.
Alani, yeah, sorry. I met a Alani today, so I'm just like, Alani. Alani, by your own admission, let's say there is a God, right? And let's say his name is Jesus Christ, the Bible's true, and he'll judge you one day. God would have to see you as a liar, a thief, a blasphemer, and a murderer at heart. Do you think you'd be innocent or guilty?
It depends how seriously he judges those things. I think that I'm a liar in the sense that, like, when I was a little kid, I would break things and tell my parents I didn't break them. I'm not. I try not to do things that hurt people in large ways that matter. If that makes sense.
So you're saying in small ways.
Yes. In the small ways, I think I do some of those things, but I don't think as a person people would know me and say that I am a liar, a blasphemer, a thief, or any of those things.
What if the small ways to us we might be good, to ourselves, but what if God is so perfect that he sees those small things and he knows your potential? If you continue doing those small lies, the small thefts, the small blasphemies, he knows that eventually, Alani, you'll reach a point of like your conscience is hardened, right? That's where God looks at it. He doesn't just look at it like, she's just Alani, I know her. She doesn't mean bad. She just lies a little bit here and there. God doesn't judge like a man. The Bible even says, I know you haven't read it, I love the Bible, so I'm telling you, he says, God is not a man that he should lie, right? In the Old Testament says that. So God is not a man, or a woman, right? God is not a woman that he's gonna lie, right? So that's what I'm saying is though, God's perfection is so high that you can't jump to reach it, right?
Yeah.
So before God, you and I are criminals. We're guilty because we broke his law, right? I know it's harsh because the law is harsh, but God has love for you. Do you know what God did for you so that you could be forgiven for all of your law breaking?
Yeah.
What did he do? If you know what happened in history.
I'm not sure. I just, I try my best when I live my life.
Yeah.
I don't really think about what will happen all those years after I die. I think about who I am now, what I am now, and I think that even if when I die, God says that I'm a bad person, it still means a lot to me that I'm able to look in the mirror and see a good person.
I see. I know you want to look at a mirror and see yourself a good person, but if there is a God and he's the one who knows you better than you know yourself, wouldn't you want to be aligned with his will, with God's will for your life and the way he sees you? If he has perfect love for you, but he also has perfect justice and perfect anger at sin, then you're not, before him, you're not a good person, right? I'm not a good person before God, but I know what I am that's different. I'm forgiven, right? I'm not a good person, but I've been forgiven. I've experienced God's grace in such a way, Alani, that I don't live with guilt or shame. I don't want to try to go around God. I don't want to try to go little lies, little thefts. God changed my heart so much that I want to please him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Alani, God, you just don't understand yet that when you experience the love of God and what Jesus Christ did for you through the cross, you can't ever go back. You don't want to go back because then you realize everything you live for is just temporary things, right?
Yeah.
I got a degree. I went for undergrad, master's, but it doesn't matter for me, that thing, it doesn't fulfill me. It's good that I got it. It's good. But what I'm saying is that it's not going to satisfy your deepest need and desire for love, right?
Yeah.
So what you're looking for is love and purpose. And I believe that the only way that's found is through a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. So I would encourage you to think about it. I know you ever read the Bible, right?
I've not.
Do you have a Bible or a phone?
I have a phone.
Okay,
Yeah.
so download the Bible app or just go online and just read the Gospel of John. The Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They talk about the life of Christ. I really encourage you because there is something about Jesus that is so different than any other religious figure. And Jesus said he's the way, the truth, and the life, right?
Yeah.
So he's the way, he's truth itself, and he's life himself, right? So Buddha never claimed to be the way, the truth. Krishna never claimed to be the way and truth. Muhammad definitely didn't claim to be the truth. He didn't even know whether he was going to probably go to paradise. And he was Islam's greatest prophet. Not a good prophet, but the prophet of Islam.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that Jesus wasn't just any religious figure. He was different. He was God. He claimed to be God. And he proved it by dying and rising again from the dead. And that's what you have to understand. Oh, sorry, I want to step. That's what you would have to really research and understand. Is this really true, you know? Is this mythology or is this fairy tales or is what this Ukrainian guy Slavic telling me true? Is this really life-changing? So I would encourage you to just do some more research. There's a guy named J. Warner Wallace. He was a detective. He was a famous detective on Dateline, ABC news station. He became a Christian after he was a hardcore atheist, hardcore. Then he started reading the Bible and seeing, does the Bible correlate to reality? And then he found out, wow, the Bible actually explains reality really well. And then he started studying the resurrection, whether it's mythology or not. And then he came to the truth that the Bible is true. He became a Christian. Now he writes books helping people understand the Bible from a detective's point of view. It's called Cold Case Christianity. We'll go on YouTube, you'll find it. J. Warner Wallace. So I'll give you more evidence from somebody who's actually a professional in his field who was an atheist like you, and he realized, wow, there's something different about the Bible. So, what do you think about all that?
I think it's something that I don't see myself living out. It's not a lifestyle that I can view myself having, but it's something that I respect. I respect people who are Christians, and I don't live my life. I think that especially there's a lot of people who think that atheists are like God haters and like
I
if
know.
you're a Christian, atheists are gonna
they're gonna destroy you in arguments. Yeah, I know it's not every atheist. I know that. I've met really hardcore atheists, but I've also met atheists that are very nice. So it's not true, and they're not all. Yeah, but again, the truth is that all of us, we're all sinners. That's the truth. It doesn't matter if we're atheist, Muslim, or Buddhist, or a Christian. We all need God's forgiveness. If you need forgiveness from another human being because you wronged them or they wronged you, right? But you need forgiveness from God Himself. See, that's what I would really focus on is, wow, did I sin against God? And the Bible, you can get to know God better. Just think about it. You never know that this could be a fork in the road for you in your life today. It could be. You could start thinking about things about God from now on, or you could totally reject it and be like, I don't need God. But you don't know where the devil's going to lead you. Because I believe there's a real evil called the devil, Satan, a spirit being that actually hates everybody, every human being, and he wants everybody to go to hell with him.
That is very selfish and violent, and overall will not evil and will not make good decisions. I don't think that's anything like an intelligent figure. I don't think it's a devil. I think it's just an instinct. I think it's just an instinct and something that is built into us.
Right.
But I don't think that we need to find anything with God to forgive us for things that we've done that are wrong, or to make sure that we don't do those things that are wrong. I think that we need to look inside of ourselves every time we make a decision and say, is this the right thing to do? Is this the just thing to do?
The thing is, I agree with you in some respect, but in some respects, I look at societies that thought they were doing just things, like the Soviet Union. I'm from the ex-Soviet Union. They killed millions of their own people for the justice of the Soviet state. So to them, that was just. So how can you tell them that they're wrong? You see what I'm saying? Unless you have an objective standard of morality, then everybody's right. It's just, you guys got to get along with it. So I would urge you to consider like where you get your morality, where standard of morality from, because I get it from God and the Bible. Therefore, thus the Soviet Union is evil, Nazi Germany is evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously you know they're evil, but what about other societies? You know what I mean? Maybe they don't do as bad as Nazi Germany. What about our society?
I think that when you look at large societies and societies in general, it's very hard to say that things were objectively good for any civilization. You could say that the U.S. is bad, and wrong, and evil, and I don't think that's inherently wrong. You can also say it's good, and that's not inherently wrong. Right. So it's just, when you're looking at large groups of people, I think it's harder to see those more like minute decisions. Yeah. I think that it's easier to make those kinds of judgments when you know someone personally. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I'm actually more, I'm using just as a big umbrella, but I'm really talking about you, like personally. Like your little lies to God are crimes against the holy God, because He knows what those little things lead to. That evil people don't start out just murdering cats and killing people. You know what I mean? They start out little things. So that's what I'm saying, is that every sin starts out little. You don't just do big. You can do big sins, but I'm saying the human heart has to justify and rationalize things, right? Like you have to rationalize if you're gonna murder somebody. You have to rationalize if you're gonna lie to a police officer. Like you have to rationalize these things. So what I'm saying is that our rationalizing is not morality in itself. Morality is objectives outside of your rationalization. So that's what I'm talking about. Jesus Christ is the moral standard of righteousness. So that's why He's the greatest human figure in history. Even if you're an atheist, He's still the greatest human figure. No one can escape from Jesus. Honestly, our time is split in half. Think about it. We have the current era and then the before current era, or BC or AD, right? So what I'm saying is that there's something about Jesus, Alani, that is so unique that it begs the question, who is He, right? Just look into Jesus more. See how different He is from other world religions. And then open up the Bible and see what happens. Because, yeah. All right, I appreciate it. I know. All right, hey, thanks for talking to me. Of course.
I enjoy your latte.
Thank you.
All right, God bless. Bye-bye.